Whew, sometimes there are choices in games we'd rather not make. Sometimes we have no choice. Welcome back, my fellow gamers. It is me, Amanda. What is the most disturbing thing you've experienced in a video game? Share your experiences in the comments. Number 10. Trust in Animatronic. One of the worst experiences out there when it comes to gameplay lies in the unexpected. In the case of the narrative for Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, we thought we knew where the story was headed. We thought we could maybe, trust some of these poor animatronics who had been locked away and seemingly mistreated by their caretakers, but no. As always, trust no one in a horror game, especially an animatronic. Your trust of Circus Baby and Sister Location will only end with you becoming a hollow skin suit after you get scooped. So don't do that. Don't trust anything. And friends, before we move on to our next spot, if you are loving what we do here at Top 10 Gaming, please head on over to Most Amazing Top 10 Anime, where you can enjoy us doing a similar thing, but with manga and anime, and it's super cool if you like those things, which I bet you do. Everyone does. Number 9. Go diving. Diving and swimming are already scary enough experiences in normal games that don't involve horror. So never mind horror games when those things happen. Oh boy. In Man of Medan, part of the Dark Picture anthology, at one point you have to do a dive. Right near the beginning too. In the murky depths of the ocean, you head towards a wreck of a sub as you hope to scavenge and explore it. There is something creepy in knowing that you are not only underwater and therefore out of your element, swimming in what are known to be shark-infested waters because that's shown to you, but also that you are now going to enter a structure that you could potentially become stuck in, and never mind being stuck in, you could also be severely cut up in this thing. Also, there's creepy eels. Number 8. Fight a tree. Sounds weird to say, but it's a thing. I never thought I could be so terrified of trees, but the game Blair Witch certainly surprised me by making me frightened of them. Trees and leaves. Things that I now have irrational fears of because of Blair Witch. Blair Witch is a 2019 survival horror game created by Bloober that was met with some mixed reviews due to bugs, but overall it's a pretty horrifying experience, I gotta say. If it works for you. Sometimes the bugs are the most scary experience because then you can't play. It's frustrating. You play as Ellis, a volunteer attempting to help track down some kids who are believed to have gone missing in the woods, or a kid at least. I think there's been a few kids that went missing, but I think you're looking for one. The same woods that are featured in the Blair Witch films, hence the name of the game, Blair Witch. One of the first monstrous entities that you actually get to interact with is the trees of the forest themselves, or, tree monsters. Maybe they're not exactly trees, but they look like trees. The tree monsters move insanely fast and need to be blasted by light in order for you to even be able to defeat them, and if not, they will rush and kill you. So yeah. Also, the fact that they move so fast is, I don't like that. I don't like when I'm fighting things and I'm like, I can't really see what's happening. Number 7. Open the bathroom door. Sounds like a weird thing to warn people on, but yeah, this is a pretty bad thing to do. To this day, Silent Hill's playable teaser remains one of the most horrifying games we have ever experienced in the horror gaming community. It still haunts us. And it was only a playable teaser. While PT no longer exists, the legacy of the game has carried on, with people even attempting as recently as 2020 to remake the teaser and release it for free, so everyone who missed out can experience it. Although I was one of the people that initially missed out, being more of an Xbox or PC gamer myself, one of the most horrifying things from these games that I've experienced through watching others play involves the bathroom. At one point, the bathroom door creaks open in the hallway, and just a sliver of it is open, and cockroaches can be seen coming from within it. But if you are daring enough to reach for that handle and try to enter the bathroom, you may never do so again. Anywhere. Ever. Because what you get in the sliver of the door is a sight that burns into my memory as the ghostly figure, presumably Lisa, pulls the door firmly shut, allowing you to catch a horrifying glimpse of her as she does so. It's quite the jump scare, and it will make you question if there's ever a bathroom door that's slightly ajar that you can't quite see in, if you should just maybe close that door instead. Don't open it, maybe just close it. Number 6. Experience PTSD. The potential of losing my companion Bullet in Blair Witch has to be one of the saddest and most frightening experiences for me in any game. and I never even experienced it fully happening, but I did experience the anxiety of potentially having it happen. With Blair Witch, I could basically only get to a certain part in that game, and then it was like forever kind of frozen for me. Not in the sense that I couldn't do anything with my screen, but in the sense that I couldn't actually progress because I could no longer take any actions. Couldn't interact with anything in my game beyond that point. However, in Blair Witch, even up to the point that I got to, there were many moments where it seemed as though Bullet was lost to me forever. Bullet is basically your dog companion in the game who joins you as Alice on your spooky journey through the wilderness, and like most unleashed dogs, there are times when he can, of course, wander off. Although he is pretty good at, if you whistle, you say come, he'll come back to you, but not always. The really frightening thing built into the game is this results in you having panic attacks. Bullet keeps you calm, but if you become separated, you can easily become anxious and slip into a frightening PTSD attack, often losing consciousness before waking up with Bullet having returned to you. Blair Witch does a good job of simulating a similar feeling of anxiety in the player in comparison to Ellis with gameplay throughout the game. And this is one of the most useful tactics the game employs in creating that anxiety feeling. Number 5, getting injured. Eek! I hate the idea of this one so much. Okay, so in Outlast Whistleblower, one of the antagonists you come up against is a man known as the Groom. It's one of the main antagonists of the game. He's a variant named Eddie Gluskin who is basically obsessed with turning captured victims into his perfect bride. Whew. His main problem is that all his victims that he has access to here are pretty much men. You included. You end up chased throughout the game by Eddie, pursued by him as he hopes to turn you into his perfect bride, also witnessing everything he has done to prior victims up until the point that he attempts to then do the same thing to you. When you get away, you get injured, and when you get away again, kind of get further injured. Is there anything worse than running from a man who wants to cut you up, but you're like forced to limp run? I don't think so. You've like no control. You're just like, oh, my foot is really messed up. Number 4, leave Bullet. Another horrifying experience when it comes to Blair Witch is the moment where you actually can lose Bullet permanently for the rest of the game. This happens when you get a message from the witch. There are words written on a wall in blood that you come across, at least I think it's blood, that are a play on the phrase, "Let sleeping dogs lie." But sleeping is swapped out for dying, and lie is swapped out for die. This is a moment in the game where you can choose to leave Bullet behind, a horrifying thing to consider. The good news is with this one, you don't actually have to do this one. At least it's optional, so you don't have to do it. And in fact, I wouldn't recommend it, because Bullet's great. Don't leave him. Don't do that. If you do that, I'm gonna cry. So don't do it. Number 3, actually enter the bathroom. Never mind just trying to enter the bathroom in Silent Hills PT. That in and of itself would be enough to make me never want to try to enter a bathroom again. But for those brave souls who do later on try that, you can get in, but then of course you're locked in the bathroom, which is worse. While you end up being rewarded with the flashlight, it also means you get a better look at this thing that's crying in the sink, likely meant to resemble a particular being that's relevant to the story. The monster design for this unformed being is pretty terrifying to behold as well. Add in the fact that you are locked in the bathroom with it, with only a small, hard little light source to brighten your experience, and the bathroom is maybe one of the worst places in this whole game to be. It's pretty awful. I never thought that attempting to enter or going to the bathroom would be one of the worst things that could happen in a horror game, but here we are. This is also probably why sometimes late at night when I have to go to the bathroom, I'm just like, oh boy, can I hold it? Because I don't really want to go in there. It's pretty dark. Number 2, get hooked. Ugh. It's my least favorite experience in a horror game. Dead by Daylight is a 1v many game where one person plays as a horror legend, either someone from the game or a killer like Freddy or Michael Myers or even the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. The other people play as survivors, some of whom are unique to the game, while others match up with some of the notable and featured villains of legend. The survivors aim to survive while the killer aims to kill everyone, preventing any from escaping them. In the process of getting captured and killed, as the villain heads out to, round up more victims, they store you on a meat hook, which literally drains your health away if you miss a specifically timed action response. Something I'm not very good at, and I'm definitely worse at it when I'm nervous or scared. Whenever I get on the hook, it makes me go crazy to the point that I find it hard to focus going forward on surviving. Even if I'm freed from the hook and I have another chance at, getting free, my mind automatically goes instead into fight or flight mode anytime the villain's anywhere near me, more usually definitely flight of those two options as well, and then I just run around in circles aimlessly, scared for my life in game. Needless to say, a friendly reminder that panicking, as I do, also does not help anyone in this scenario, you or your fellow players, so try not to be like me and don't do that. Don't get spooked. Sometimes I do get spooked. Number 1, meet Lisa. Don't meet Lisa, if you can avoid it. Hi Lisa. Lisa is a figure whose presence is felt pretty intensely throughout the game of Silent Hill's PT. She is likely the victim of the horror story that we learn more and more about in PT over the course of our time playing. Lisa was likely murdered and now haunts these halls, attempting to jump scare you as you attempt to avoid her, so you aren't set back to the beginning of the current hallway loop, or you could say the current level, I suppose. But that's also hard to do because, you know, you don't have anything to fight her with, so kinda just gotta try to not get attacked by her. The first time you see her, her presence is unexpected, which adds to the scare element of having her appear before you. But other than looking at Lisa, one of the worst things you are forced to experience is her return each time when you are once more forced into attempting to survive her vengeful presence. Well, I'm not going to sleep tonight, and I'm probably going to also be wary of the bathroom. How about you? Thank you so much for joining me on this spooky list, and until next time, keep on gaming on. Pew pew!